I believe that what we're seeing as of right now when it comes to ZBCN could hypothetically just become the start of something that could be so special because keep in mind, 10 cents is currently even still, despite the price of ZBCN doing very well, actually, much like I predicted. But even besides that, 10 cents is still around a 50x from here. So just imagine that. That's still a ways to go. And some people may be thinking, oh, if I didn't acquire ZBCN back then, there's no point. Now, personally, for me, I am not in that mindset, even though I can't speak on anyone's behalf. Because again, 10 cents is still around a 50x from here. So I don't think it's bad. Keep in mind, when I first started acquiring ZBCN, it wasn't doing that good. And it had a pump. I didn't sell anything. Then it had a dump. Then it was whatever, kind of teeter-tottering for a while. Then suddenly, boom, take a look at the recovery, right? So then the way you take a look at it is that in the medium to short term, things are going to be very volatile. But all I care about is the end goal. I was acquiring when ZBCN was doing bad, when it was doing good, when it was also doing bad again. But then I'm still not going to stop acquiring ZBCN as of right now, even though I'm totally aware of the fact that the journey to 10 cents, there could very well be some pullbacks along the way. But because I'm dollar cost averaging, because anytime an income I'm acquiring, I'm holding, I'm just waiting, that's it. That way I'm able to stay in the game long term and I'm able to stay consistent because by me doing that, what I'm doing is I'm putting a set amount on a set schedule. That way, it's something that's not affecting my lifestyle. It's something that's not, going to change my life. Like I see some people out there putting their grocery bills, their car payments, their rent money for cryptocurrencies. However, I don't do stuff like that because I believe that could become very risky very quickly. Even though there's always going to be risks, I'm totally aware of that. But I'm not willing to take crazy chances like that. Instead, again, I'm doing consistently and I'm putting what I would have originally put into my savings account anyways. So that way, whatever happens to the price, it's not affecting my life, at least in the short to medium term. There's going to be the end of the bull, and I'm totally aware of that. But at least in the meantime, I don't care about, these random price movements, in my opinion, even though I must say ZBCN is doing very well currently. But I don't see why, this type of attention. Some people think, oh, it's make-believe attention. It's not real. Well, here's the thing. Zebec is a very real project, in my opinion. The Zebec network is very revolutionary. Keep in mind, it's even been stated that Zebec is a decentralized infrastructure network for real-world value flows. More specifically, Zebec is focused on something called RWA payments, and RWA stands for real-world asset. And if we take a look at an RWA token, it's very fantastic because they are digital representations of physical assets on the blockchain, and they could be in markets, like for instance, in real estate, art, bonds, stocks. So that's very wonderful. And this is a proven formula. Projects that are focused on RWAs, take a look at Ondo. Market cap is very massive. Take a look at how well that did historically speaking. So I think some of that could hypothetically flow into this, much like what we're seeing as of right now, but maybe in a much bigger way, especially once the bull run is in fifth gear, especially when it comes to altcoins. Not to mention as well, Zebec is focused on AI-based PayFi. Now, AI, of course, very amazing. The market is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So that's very massive. But if we take a look at PayFi, right, payment finance, that's also very massive. Take a look at projects that are also focused on stuff like that. Like, for instance, Ripple, like Stellar, right? We all know that they're the market leaders here when it comes to this. So it's a proven strategy again, especially again when it comes to these projects that are focused on payments and global trade and finance. And if we take a look at the payments market, it's no joke, currently valued at over $2 trillion. And the global trade and finance market predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Morgan Intelligence. So when it comes to Zebec, it has all the right fronts in a sense that it has all the right pieces in place for it to really gain that massive attention during a hypothetically fully fledged bull run. And this is what I like about it. Exchange listings are also really good. Could be better, but I'm just saying it's really good. Not to mention, it has investors like Solana Ventures, has investors like Circle, which is the creator of USDC. That's very wonderful news. Of course, Circle is allegedly one of the early investors when it comes to Zebec. So that's amazing. And also, when we take a look at Zebec's, somewhat close ties to Solana, the Solana ETF in Canada, that could maybe bring a lot of positivity along this way. Who knows? Only time will tell, but that could be amazing, in my opinion, at least potentially. Take a look at how Zebec is partners with Visa, MasterCard, Bank of America, something like JP Morgan. Zebec, again, when I say all that, is it a kind of make-believe project? Is it a hype project? I doubt that. I think it's a very real project with amazing fundamentals, amazing partnerships, amazing investors, good exchange listings when it comes to ZBCN, I mean, this is a no-brainer for me, really. This is as if I went back in time and I was able to acquire XLM or XRP at a much lower price. That's the way to take a look at it. Or should I say at a much lower point, right? Because of course the price is going to be different when it comes to each project in terms of the tokenomics. But I'm just saying in a figure of speech type of way. However, even besides that, when I take a look at ZBC and people seem to think, oh man, 10 cents is ridiculous and all this type of stuff. Well, with the way the market is heading as of right now, it doesn't seem that ridiculous. And not to mention, there could be some historical signs as to how this bull run is actually not in its fully fifth gear peak yet, especially when it comes to altcoins, because usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And the last Bitcoin halving event that happened in April of last year, 18 months from then would actually mean around October this year. So, I mean, that's some food for thought, right? There's no guarantees, but with the way the markets are heading as of right now, I don't see why history won't repeat itself in that sense. But only time will tell. And I'm going to still stay patient, still going to acquire ZBCN anyways, and just wait and see. Because again, 10 cents, considering current circulating supply and market cap, would be nearly $8 billion, and that's around a 50x from here. Doesn't seem that ridiculous to me, especially considering how back in 2021, Dogecoin reached over $80 billion in market cap. Shiba Inu reached around $40 billion that time. But I think really Dogecoin and Shiba Inu could do a lot better this time around because of the more positive factors that we see as of right now. And naturally, I think when we take that into consideration, something like ZBCN going to nearly an $8 billion market cap doesn't seem that crazy, to me at least. I mean, again, imagine if Bitcoin goes to 200,000, 300,000. This may seem a little bit bearish actually at that point. This is just my perspective. Because ZBCN doesn't even have that many competitors to begin with. I mean, take a look at it, right? Of course, XRP and XLM is number 1 and 2. Number 3 and 4 is XDC and XCN. And number 5 and number 6 is arguably a toss-up between ZBCN or XPR. But right now, of course, due to ZBCN doing very well, it is arguably number 5. And that's kind of crazy to think about. Because, again, like I mentioned earlier on the video, the payments market, the global trade and finance market, it's very massive. But then there's not that many competitors when it comes to these crypto-oriented projects that are focused on that. So this is why I like ZBCN so much. It doesn't have that many major competitors and is focused on amazing markets. It's a no-brainer for me. And of course, some people may be wondering, why isn't there that many competitors? And I think it's going to come down to the fact that the Ripple and SEC case, which created a lot of nonsense, that made a lot of developers kind of apprehensive to enter into this space. And as a result, again, not that many competitors, but it's actually a blessing in disguise now that we think about it for projects like ZBCN that is really beginning to gain that attention. But of course, only time will tell, and I'm still staying patient. And 10 cents when it comes to ZBCN wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.